Hello, and welcome to the Handplane Challenge. I'm Mark, your host, and I'm a guy who's pretty intensely curious about anything related to handplanes. So this is part 3 of a 3-part series, we hope, on high-angle frog conversion kits for vintage handplanes. Part 1 dealt with installation of the conversion kits in the vintage handplanes. Part 2 was testing a Stanley number 4 with a 50-degree frog kit. And in today's video, we're going to go with 55-degree conversion kits in both a Stanley number 4 and a Miller's Falls number 9. We're going to get right to it. It's been a little while since the last video. Like many of you woodworkers out there, I'm sure you know what I mean. This is the time of year when we all have some nervous anxiety bordering on outright panic, i.e. the period before Christmas. T-minus 40 days and 40 nights until Christmas, and I'm feverishly working to get my Christmas list done. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Okay, now I only have one 55-degree high-angle conversion kit, and my plan is to leave it in the Miller's Falls number 9, as I discussed in one of the previous videos. However, I know a lot of you guys out there probably have Stanleys, and so that's why I decided to go with both planes in today's video. So I've installed it in the Stanley number 4. You've seen this plane many times. I'm not going to show the details of that installation. The comment that I'll make is that the screw for holding the wedge onto the sole of the plane where the frog normally goes, I couldn't make either supplied washer work with that, so I went with just bare frog bolts, no washers underneath them. Other than that, the installation was pretty straightforward. Now, just like I said in the previous video, I feel like it's kind of important to test the plane on a standard board just to make sure you've got it set up correctly, and so that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Getting shavings. The mouth is pretty tight on this. That could be an issue here. Pretty tight still. So we're getting shavings, so we're going to go ahead and keep going with it. Now, in the test of the 50-degree high-angle frog conversion kit on the Stanley number 4, we tested 3 different kinds of boards. We have quarter sawn sycamore with a sizable knot in it. We have pear with a substantial amount of ray type figure in it that makes that I've always had problems with it tearing out. And we have a piece of walnut that's got a lot of crotch figure in it and a big old knot down there at the end. And so what we're going to do is just, I'm just going to go through these. I'm not going to re-aim the camera between times. We're just going to see how it works, and I'll comment as we go. So first up, quarter sawn sycamore, 55-degree frog kit in a Stanley number 4. Nice wispy shavings, that's working pretty good. Down here where the okay. Quarter sawn sycamore. Good to go. Okay, I had to go off camera to do some tweaking. As I said before, the mouth is very tight on this, even with the wedge and the frog as far back as I could get them. I had the cap iron set close to the edge of the cutter as I would normally do, but in that configuration it was just clogging up the mouth too bad. I couldn't plane with it. And so now what I've had to do, the only way I could get it to work was to back the cap iron up a little bit, more than I usually would. It's probably a good 1/16 of an inch now. And so coming back to the pair, here we go. Taking shavings, mouth is kind of doing okay, but still a little bit of a tendency to clog. It's doing okay, but you know, it's clearly a rougher surface. The higher you go in frog angle, the more it's like a scraping action. I wouldn't say that was any great shakes. Frankly, it's even getting a little tear out, so I'm not real stupendously pleased with that one. I'd have to say the 50-degree frog did better on this than the 55. And maybe it's because I had to back the cap iron up some, so that could be a factor. Let's try the walnut briefly. Shavings, maybe a little deep on the cut. I'm going to avoid the knot. That one's okay. One thing you can really tell, you know, it's certainly got kind of a dull finish down here, and you can clearly tell relative to up here where it's got a much more planed appearance. Down here it's definitely scraping as much as cutting, I think. When you get, you know, easy grain, it'll definitely work. But there you have it. That's the 55-degree angle frog conversion kit in the Stanley number 4. All in all, frankly, I'd have to say for the Stanley, it needs a little more tweaking. And frankly, so far, I'd say I'd like the 50-degree frog better. Alright, let's try it in the Miller's Falls. Alrighty then. I've installed the 55-degree high-angle frog conversion kit in the Miller's Falls number 9. One thing I hadn't actually noticed until now is the throat here for the Stanley is noticeably smaller than for the Miller's Falls number 9. In fact, I measured it with a set of calipers. We got about 0.17 inches here on the Stanley and about 0.2 on the Miller's Falls. So that could actually explain some of the performance problems that we were seeing, especially not being able to get the mouth open wide enough and getting clogging and so on and so forth. So let's take the Miller's Falls out for a test drive and see how it works. First up, as usual, quarter sawn sycamore. Working very nice. Down here on the nut. Taking lovely shavings, wispy, thin. No problems at all, and not a hint of tear out anywhere on this board. But you know, sycamore seems to be pretty easy for a lot of the planes I own, so probably not a great test. Next up is the pearwood. Definitely one of my examples of wood that's very difficult to plane without tear out. Oops. A little deep. Let's back her up a little bit. There we go. Very nice. Excellent shavings. Working really good. Yep, no problems with the pear. Working very nice. No tear out. And it feels like it's actually planing now and not scraping. So, and it's leaving a better, not leaving such a rough surface. So it's working good, working well on the pear wood. I like that. Last up, crotch grain walnut. Yep. You can see you've got this big old knot here and it's got this stuff around it. That would be a ripe area for tear out in normal circumstances. Planing right on through it. You can see the proof is in the pudding. Wispy, thin little shavings and a nice clean surface. So far I'd say the Miller's Falls is definitely doing better. Okay, time now for the money shot. I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but this is a piece of wavy walnut. You know, it's just we'll see if some angle, hopefully there, I can't look at the camera and see what we're seeing, but take my word for it, this is far and away the most difficult wood I've ever tried to plane. So let's see how well we do. It's not very smooth, it's not very flat either. You know, there's no joint or anything. It's a thin piece of wood, so it's not been flattened properly, so we're going to be kind of winging it here. There it is. It's actually planing some of that curly grain. I'm going to focus right there in the middle. Got a low spot right there. That's not going to plane for a while. Go around it a little bit. Yeah, we're taking shavings. Now this is protesting a little bit. It's not the best. I focused right in here though, and I have to say that's looking pretty darn good. There's a little, let's try. Maybe a little hint of tear out in some places, but speaking from prior experience, this is doing 10 times better than any other plane I've tried to use on this piece of wood, this exact piece of wood. So, and you know, it's actually planing it. Real shavings, not, you know, that is not bad, all things considered. Okay, let's wrap things up. We've tested the Reed Planes 55-degree high-angle frog kit in both a Stanley number 4 and a Miller's Falls number 9. The Stanley number 4 wasn't real great. If I were going to use the 55-degree angle kit in the Stanley, it would take some pretty serious additional tweaking, I think. But for me at least, the good news is that I had already decided that I was going to keep it in the Miller's Falls number 9, so no need. If I ever need a high angle frog kit in the Stanley, I'll go back to the 50-degree one that worked pretty well in the Stanley. The 55-degree kit seems to work really nice in the Miller's Falls number 9. It planed quarter-sawn sycamore, crotch grain walnut, and pear wood without any problems and without much noticeable tear out. But even better, it was doing pretty well with this wavy walnut. I frankly have never had a plane do as well in this wood as this one just did. So, you know, maybe it's not, I can't honestly say, you know, I've beat up on this wood with a lot of planes previously. I can't honestly say that it's tear out free. It's a little hard to know whether some little itty bitty patches may still be there, or they might have been there before I even started. So who knows? But nonetheless, it was taking shavings, and in the parts where I focused, I honestly didn't see much tear out. So there you have it. I'm pretty happy with the 55-degree high angle frog kit in the Miller's Falls number 9, and I'm going to keep it there. Thanks for watching the Handplane Challenge. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Please leave comments. Always glad to hear from the guys and gals watching this video. And so without further ado, I'll see you next time on the Handplane Challenge.